Welcome back to another hour of Scotch Hour. I'm Noah.
And I'm Jesse. And we've got a special guest this week.
Hi, I'm Debbie, Noah's mom and Jesse's adopted mom.
All right, so this tonight I think we have a pretty good episode of 124.
124.
We have the Ardbeg smoldering...
Heavy vapors.
Heavy vapor. Oh, see, I think it's smoldering. Heavy vapors, and then from there we have our shout-outs to Get It Togethers, followed by our restaurant review, which is Burnt End Barbecue, which I guess this Scotch will go well with that, huh?
I think
and then our Get It Together, which is, or not Get It Together, but our Smarter Challenge being the movie review of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning.
Scotch review.
Well, we've had several scotches. We were going to do the Ass Keg 8-year, I believe it was, but we changed things up because of our special guest this week. So we have decided to go with this Ardbeg Heavy Vapors, the ultimate Islay single malt Scotch whiskey. It is non-chill filtered. Heavy vapors will rise. 46% alcohol by volume. And the story, and we've gone through a lot of the history with Ardbeg and some of the legal actions taken in the past because Laphroaig and Ardbeg and Lagavulin all were going for a similar flavored Scotch, and Laphroaig is reputed to have gone after trying to really steal their flavor and vice versa. But as we've seen in late, Ardbeg, and I'm sure this will be no exception, has done some pretty different things, not staying true to the mainstream or in any way, shape, or form replicate a Lagavulin, a Laphroaig, or any other Islay single malt Scotch whiskey. So a missing purifier, a dram forsaken, heavy vapors will rise. Things just got heavy in the adverse. Man, something weird is going down in the distillery. The legendary purifier responsible for Ardbeg's exalted balance is nowhere to be seen, and this whiskey is the consequence. The harmony between peat and floral, and that's going to be interesting, fruitiness has been disrupted. What have rises are the untamed, darker flavors and notes gathering and filling the senses. It is an ominous dram of a dramatic, aromatic pungency. Pungent. Sometimes I use that word, usually never in a good sense.
Right?
Oh, man. Intimidating pals of smoke loom large with a lingering, cloying sweetness. We've got some big words on here. I don't know that most Americans know the definition of half of these. A burst of bitterness surges, disturbing ashy cold dust and casting a haze of cardamom. Mentholic eucalyptus rolls in, describing the fruit and floral notes usually found at the heart of Ardbeg. In fact, this is the most full-blown Ardbeg ever. Full-blown, that's interesting. Who can restore the balance? Is there a savior of the Ardverse? Read on.
Sounds like you want a superhero to show up.
I think that's what they're going for. This is our single malt Scotch superhero. And what do you think? What do you think of the box?
I like it. It's kind of, white, and I like it. It's kind of like a smoky, like smoke kind of going through the air and stuff.
Yeah. Is this like going after like some sort of anime thing, you think?
I don't know. I was trying to figure out like if it's like a woman in wintertime wearing a hat, or is that her hair like kind of grayish?
That's her hair. Like they're going full blown like
So is she
different.
like kind of like looks like she's like out in a windy, smoky campfire thing going on here, or what?
It just says Agent 46, triple, or AKA Jackie.
Aging 46, does that mean that she's aging? She's 46. She has this
I'm
white
guessing
flowing
Agent
hair.
46 is because it's 46 ABV.
Oh,
Agent 46, AKA Jackie. Oh, man.
so she's kind of like a like a secret agent.
It looks like it.
All right.
In the year 2023, in the plane dimension known as Planet Ardbeg, say all will be revealed.
Interesting. I mean, Ardbeg has gotten a little bit playful with some of their stuff. So we had which one was it? The Ardbeg Hardcore with like the kind of punk kind of like theme to it.
Hardcore was good. Man, the Ardbeg 19 year was amazing.
And then they got the one with like the UFO and the spaceship.
Yeah.
I just wish that one had a box.
If it had a box, I'd have bought it a long time ago. I hate Ardbeg that you did not put that in a tin or a box.
Well, I guess any kind of history you want to know about Ardbeg, it is from Isla, right? So I guess you go visit one of our previous episodes where we did review the Ardbeg Hardcore, the 19, the 10, the Ugadal, and the Corey Becken. So
Yeah.
any one of those, you can go revisit those if you want to know a little bit more history about it. Tours wise, it is you can get a tour there. They do it 7 days a week. And that is approximately 52 US dollars. And you can also just do the quick tour type thing where you just go and do the tastings.
Long tour.
Long
Definitely
tour.
there for the long tour.
All right, I guess is it time to unveil?
I think it is time to unveil. So, as Noah mentioned, this is an Isla single malt Scotch. Isla there off the east coast of Scotland, and this is on the east coast of the island. Ardbeg, Lagavulin, Lafroig, all on the southeast edge of Isla. And I gotta say, the bottle does look reminiscent of most Ardbeg bottles. Very traditional with some great copper hints.
The topper is a little bit different, though. It's usually the black with the embroidered stuff on, or the whatever.
Yes, they have gone with a copper top as opposed to that more traditional plastic black one. And this is foil for a change as well. It is not plastic. at
I like
all.
how the bottle does an accessory with the box. I mean, everything just kind of ties in really nice.
Very well.
Yeah, even the back label.
Yeah.
Is there more to the story on the back label, or is it the same thing?
Uncharted territory in the smallest goddamn words you can find. Yeah. We're gonna blow this shit up.
Row.
All right. It is said that the merest whiff of classic Ardbeg transport you to another time and place. However, the aroma of this formidable smoky malt takes you to another dimension altogether, for it answers the impossible question: how would Ardbeg be without the pivotal influence of its legendary purifier? You're about to find out, for this dram is the most full-blown Ardbeg ever. Take a deep breath, then a sip, and follow Agent 46 into the Ardverse through the QR portal above.
Oh, so there's an additional story that you had to take with the QR code. Interesting.
There is.
So wasn't there like another Scotch that we did not too long ago where you had to take like a link to go see something else on it?
All of the Diageo limited edition ones had a different piece where you could access it. All right, ready to break into this?
Yep.
All right.
Let's go on an adventure.
That's right. To the Ardverse.
with Agent 46.
Yeah. Hopefully she's hot.
Isn't that what Vanessa Kirby's for?
Mission Impossible.
I don't think this is her hair.
I think so.
I don't think so.
My eyes aren't that bad.
She has short hair.
That's her hair. Or a wig.
No, that's her hair.
Where do you see that? She has short hair.
No, that's her long hair. That's like smoke. It's either gray or it's like ash. From the
No.
Yeah.
See, I am only 21.
And she's wearing clogs.
How do you know it's a she?
Damn.
Wow.
It could be a.
This
A
is not
Scott.
a Bud Light.
Yeah, it's not Bud.
Amen.
All right. Well, here we are. We're about to go to warp speed, test out, give this thing a launch to the Ardverse, and we'll be back to let you know how it fares.
All right, cheers.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So with Agent 46 getting ready to go into the Ardbeg verse, right? Ardverse is what is it called?
Ardverse.
Ardverse. Okay.
Ardverse.
Ardverse. I will say that it is quite a trip. I've actually enjoyed it quite a bit. As for the color, I got the wrong glass up right now, but anyways, my other one's empty. But it's I have like a light golden. Just like a light golden color, which is really nice and pleasant to the sight. Jesse might call it sun-kissed blonde, or maybe.
We're
But
going straight platinum blonde on this one.
I'm going straight platinum. Okay. But I liked it, so I gave it 5 out of 5 points. The packaging. Here I struggle once again because this is a really intricate package. The box is phenomenal. A lot of great things going on the box. And usually I complain about like when there's too much going on the box, saying like it's too busy. But this one is almost like a comic book story going on or something like that. And I think that's why like the busyness of this one doesn't really seem to bother me. But the bottle itself is great with the nice green and the copper tones and stuff like that. I really do enjoy it. Although drawback, plastic top. I can't remember. It was a press cork.
Solid cork.
Solid cork. Okay. So to hold true to myself, I did give it 4 out of 5. Usually, like I said, I give my 5 to like the ones that have like a really intricate like box setup. As you can see, probably right behind Jesse with the King Alexander, or even the Glenfiddich Grand Reserva or Grand Cru. So those would be like my 5 levels. So here, if I give it like 4.5, I'd give it 4.5, but we don't give half points. The aroma. So here, the aroma has actually developed over time, and but my initial notes were that I have earthy tones with charred oak, peach, eucalyptus, and with small whiffs of saline. And I really enjoyed it. This actually got my highest points right here, and I gave it 28 out of 30. So I really did enjoy the aroma. Now the palate was actually very excellent as well. Here I got chocolate mint with apples and charred honey. So depending on like which glass I go with, if I go with the sifter or the highball glass, the flavor profile does change up a little bit. But the honey is what I first like, the honey sweetness of that charred honey. That's kind of like burnt honey or whatever, but it has like a slight burnt sweetness to it. That's the first thing that hits my tip of my tongue. And then it goes into the chocolate mint and some apples. And then as it goes into my back palate, here...
The deep throat?
The deep throat, yeah. Here I'm getting like coffee with mint, with with smoldering wood. So, because I think this is where you kind of get that smokiness, or like the smoky peep. I put smoldering wood because it seemed more like that to me, with the hints of like peppermint and lingering eucalyptus that leaves your mouth clean and fresh. So with the palate, I gave that 27 out of 30, and the finish I gave it 27 out of 30 for a grand total of 91. He's laughing, but I'm guessing we must have hit pretty close.
Pretty close. Really close. Really close.
All right.
Okay, so I'm new to this, so if I kind of struggle, please forgive me and just hang in there with me. So when I first smelled it, it was really kind of spicy for me, and I couldn't at first describe what that spiciness smell was. It gave a tingle to my nose, and I got the smell of peat and moss and the hint of leather. And I love the smell of leather, so it was like really not like overpowering, but it was just enough leather that just made me want to just continue to smell it. And so the aroma was just really awesome for me, and I gave that a 30 out of 30. The color, this color was beautiful. It's light. It's almost like a I don't know, like almost a yellow tinge of a Chardonnay, really light, real pale yellow, golden. So it was beautiful, and I gave that 5 out of 5. The packaging, I love the packaging. I love it's almost like a Art Deco to me, so I love Art Deco, and for me, I gave that a 5 out of 5. The palette, for me, I got a hint of again, the leather, and there was apple and a smokiness in there. Again, the peat. And the finish, it was, the best way I can kind of describe it is when you finish brushing your teeth and you rinse your mouth out with mouthwash, you have that fresh minty feel in your mouth, and it was like a spearmint, a clean spearmint in the back of the throat, and it was just clean and crisp and just really, really nice. So I gave that 20 out of 30, so with a grand total of 80.
It was definitely a surprise. It is definitely a surprise, a pleasant surprise. And the best way I can go about trying to describe this Scotch today is by using real life examples that I didn't get to experience in my life. The first one I will say is with the presentation. I mean, I can read the words on the box. I can barely read these little baby words on the bottle. Somehow they got a 3-paragraph essay on the back of this bottle, and it was very difficult for me to read. Box, not so much. Bottle, pretty tough. With that, though, I love the bottle. I do wish they would have used wood, because we always want to see that next level craftsmanship. However, they've got the Ardbeg A in there, and I love that. It's embossed. It's real cork. They have deviated from their traditional black plastic cap, foil, if you will, and this one is actually a foil, and I love that as well. Debbie brought up the fact that the bottle and the box on a shelf next to each other look phenomenal, front and back. I love that, but I think what I love most about this packaging with the box is the fact that it does tell an entire story, that Ardbeg, even though I couldn't figure out the month and date thing with the birthday, has a whole story online. Go check it out, around Agent 46, trying to figure out about the missing purifier. I really appreciate that. So for me, packaging, and this is a rare one, I've only done this once other on something that wasn't so extreme dream. Nothing else has gotten best of a 4. This will get a 5 from me just because I love what they've done to bring in a diverse age groups, something from the young to the mature. I love that different generations together can appreciate this packaging, and so for that, presentation does get a 5 out of 5 for me. The color, and this is part of what I mean about experiencing something that I don't get and never will and have experienced in my own lifetime, is because she passed away in 1962. This color to me is Marilyn Monroe blonde. It is that platinum blonde that is so exquisite. It's on the cover of every magazine of its time. It is beautiful, and every guy is oogling at it. We've got the big eyes enjoying this Scotch. As far as the whole tale beyond that, and the color is a 5, right? Marilyn Monroe, we're not going to say a Kennedy had her killed, but she died too soon. Some different controversies with that, but definitely a 5 for the color. The story. Now, this is a story I think that we can paint pretty cleverly. It's too bad we don't have a Monet or a Picasso here to do it for us. This Scotch is that Scotch that you want to take on that dream road trip where you're going to that foreign beach. Maybe it's in Italy, maybe it's in France, more likely it's in Greece, and you've got white sands and the perfect date, and you are bringing this Scotch to sip, and it's not hot. Even though it's bright, it's white, it's sunny, it is the perfect temperature. You're not sweating your balls off, so to speak. You are enjoying every moment of this beach. And with that, man, the nose. I'm with you on the nose, Noah. This is a strength of it. It was not my highest score. The nose, smoke, leather, seaside water. Again, perfect for that day trip with a love of your life. The sea water, dark chocolate, but not so much dark chocolate as bitter sweet chocolate. Man, there's a lot going on there, but for me, the 27 nose was bested by the 28 palate. Again, here, that it is so profound how I questioned in the nose, is it dark chocolate, is it bittersweet chocolate? On the palate, it is absolutely no questions asked. Sea salt, brine, salty, bittersweet chocolate, a hint of dark, almost burnt coffee, a little taste of cinnamon to give some spice. The brine kicks off the eucalyptus and some herbal mint. And man, that 28 palate is followed very closely by a 27 finish. The finish is long. It is bold, but it is not offensive. This is that point where you got to the beach early to watch the sunrise. You had 1 dram. Watched the sunrise, went on a hike, enjoyed the day, came back. Maybe you went and got your own catch of the day, or maybe you just paid someone else who made your catch of the day. You're having some lobster butter in foil over that campfire. It comes out perfectly. And again, this Scotch, that smoldering wood flavor perfectly pairs with this wonderful seaside feast. And it's not giant because you're too busy enjoying every moment of this experience. It is brilliant. And to think that they got this by not purifying it, great experience. I am sure it'll follow with the purified version so you can compare and contrast. If not, you should, Ardbeg. You heard it here first. Just send Scotch Hour 3 bottles for the 3 people who talked about it on this show. My overall score, a 92. it was hard to only give this Scotch a 92. There are other reasons it only gets a 92, but it is that perfect date Scotch. And as you're winding down that day, watching the sunrise, having your catch of the day after a wonderful hike, and you're just laying on the beach, the sun has set, the moon has risen, you're enjoying one dram, and there is no better way to finish off a night. It is a full experience in this bottle. Not many Scotches we have had would I say that about. This is one. It is a win.
So really, the difference right here is the box, the presentation of where I held true to myself, keeping it as a 4. You gave it a 5.
That was our only point difference, and the only difference for me was I really appreciated a generational difference where I have no doubt this is popular with the kids like 2-3 years younger than us, the 21-year-olds, but it's also popular with us and then parents. And I love the fact that multiple generations can enjoy either the artistic appeal or I'm drawn in by the story. Like, I want to know more.
Actually, I'm drawn in by the story too. And I kind of forgot about that. So, yeah, like taking that into account, I think with that extra added effort, that probably does deserve that extra point of being a 5.
Not to sound, not to date myself, but when I was a kid, my dad always used to say...
So 5 years ago when you were a kid.
Right. My dad used to say the stars are out tonight, referring to Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
When the stars came out at night. Marilyn Monroe. So when you were talking about the beach and this, being out there, it brought my dad to mind. Marilyn Monroe when you said that. So awesome. That was a great metaphor.
Oh, I meant it. There are few things in life we get to enjoy where we want to live in the moment. And this Scotch is 100% one of those. And I think Marilyn Monroe, again, it's a tragedy. She was, she died so long ago. It's, I'm like 30 years old-ish, and she was, would have been 100, but whatever. But it is one of those things where she embodied something so great, had such a huge presence, and that's what this Scotch does. Would I take this to a black tie affair? Absolutely. And I would have to make sure I was bringing in the fanfare with it. So whether it's a cummerbund and bow tie that's shining, starring, matching, contrasting, or other accents, black tie, yes. Game night, man, they better enjoy Scotch than game night. Yes, it's not cheap. I think it was right around 130 a bottle right now. A place on my shelf, absolutely something to share with loved ones when they come to town.
Oh, well, thank you.
So yeah, I forgot to say that as well. Would I take it to black tie affair? Definitely, I would. Game night? No, I would not. I think it's more for special occasions rather than a game night. This is one I would rather hoard than to take it to like just a regular old game night. Now, if it's a bunch of like Scotch connoisseurs, then like that type of game night, then sure, then that'd be kind of fun to do that. But on the shelf, definitely, I think it deserves a spot on the shelf. You?
Definitely not a black tie. I mean, I would take it to a black tie, but not to game night. I know because I go to game night every Friday night, so definitely not to the game nights that I go to. And to a barbecue, no, I would not do that. I would have to do it in a more intimate environment with just a few very close friends that we were just going to, just chill for the night and stuff. That way we could really enjoy this bottle of Scotch. I mean, you don't want to share it with
Joe Blow.
Yeah.
Maybe Joe Black, but not Joe Blow.
Yeah, with Joe Black, you got to be careful with him because you get to die when he's around.
Or maybe
not.
All right.
Okay, so there you are.
It's time for our shout-outs.
I got one quick shout out to all the parents and kids out there who go through the easy times and the hard times, but still have the faith in each other to share their words. And Mila, this goes out to you having a difficult conversation with me. I'm glad you did, and I will never regret it. And I hope you know how proud I am of you and everything you do. And Mila, cheers. Never compromise your values.
Any shout outs for you?
Shout outs, yes, I do. I flew into Denver here on Wednesday, and my youngest son, Adam, put me up at his place, and I just think that was wonderful. He threw a wonderful barbecue for me, so he has been a great host. Jesse has opened his home to me, invited me on the show, both of you, and I appreciate that. So all three of my boys, I love you immensely, and I'm so very proud of each one of you. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. My shout out this week goes to the creators of What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, no. Is the new season out?
The new season just came out on Friday, and it was a pretty great start with Guillermo getting his friend that was kind of like, I don't know, who turned into a vampire, but he's like a really terrible vampire. And it's pretty funny.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, it looks like it'll be another fun season.
Excellent. All right, this week's restaurant, Burnt End Barbecue, and this is it's considered Centennial, Colorado.
I just know they just list it as DTC.
Denver Tech Center,
Greenwood Village. Actually.
Greenwood Village, Colorado. So, interesting little barbecue spot that caught Noah's eye with some rave reviews. Noah, what did you think?
Well, first off, when we got there, I think you kind of have to know where you're going. Or at least you definitely use your GPS to get there. It's not like a thoroughfare that I would normally drive through or go by, but it is in a nice, I guess, like a nice little area there. In a kind of like, I think I want to say like part business park, part neighborhood-ish. But the actual restaurant itself, the way it's set up, it has a bunch of TVs on with sports on there, so you can definitely have a sit-down place to watch a game or hang out with some buddies. This came up on my radar because of Buff Stampede. We have a group, I guess, forum for CU football and stuff, and one of our threads in there had to do with barbecue restaurants, and this is one of the barbecue restaurants that was mentioned in there. And supposedly, one person mentioned how it had a really great happy hour. So I'm like, all right, well, that'd be, maybe that might be a place for us to go to. But the happy hour, I found out when I was there, is only on Friday. So if you do want to go there and get a deal on your beer, they have $3 pints on Fridays. Although the manager, and shout out to him, I don't know what his name was, but he said that he would honor the $3 after I showed him the thread. So, and they had basically some Breckenridge Brewery on tap there, 3 different types of Breckenridge Brewery and some other beers on tap. The place seemed, for a barbecue place, it seemed fairly clean. The sauces, they had 4 different types of sauces there. They had the original, I would say it was a honey sweet. Is that what it was? Sweet honey?
Yeah, sweet honey. And then there was
Chipotle and Southwest spicy.
Spicy, yeah.
My favorite out of the bunch was the Chipotle. I don't know exactly the name of the dish that I got, but it's a one-meat platter with 2 sides. Because when I went up there to order my food,
I think it's literally just called the brisket platter with 2 sides.
Is that what it's?
I think so, literally.
I didn't even see it on the menu up there. But anyways, I just told the guy what I wanted, so he rung it up. And the Chipotle barbecue sauce went great with the brisket. Then I got their baked beans and loaded. I thought I said loaded mashed potatoes, but it wasn't really seem like mashed potatoes as much as chunky potatoes, and that was great too. for a barbecue place, I really liked it. I used to like in the area that we live in. I was always kind of a fan of Brothers Barbecue, but just driving like probably about like another mile, like another like couple miles down the road, you go to this place, and I think Burnt End was actually a little bit better than Brothers Barbecue. And they also have beers on draft there, where the location where we live by, his brothers took their beers off of draft, and you can only buy cans there now. So, would I take a date there? Not unless she really likes barbecue, but probably not. It's not a place I'd go there. Unless it's maybe like on a way stopping off to go do something like go check out like a concert or something like that. When I meet a friend there, definitely I would. It is like kind of like a lower middle, I guess. Not quite fast food, but it's not quite like medium sit down. So I put it like lower middle. And the food I thought was great. I really enjoyed my food, so I'll give that a 9 out of 10. The service I thought was pretty good, especially with the manager, honoring the $3 pints. So I'm gonna give that 9 out of 10. The atmosphere there, it's kind of really hard to tell because we were there kind of early, so I don't know like how it gets when it gets busy there. So I can give that like an 8, maybe. So, but I guess overall, I enjoyed it for like the lower middle type of tier, so I'm gonna give it 9 out of 10 total.
All right.
Okay, so I had the whole hog platter. It had sausage, ham, and pulled pork. I had the sweet and spicy sauce, and that was paired perfectly with all 3 items that I had. I also had the coleslaw. Coleslaw was mediocre, to say the least. The mashed potatoes were chunky. They were hot. I have to admit, they were chunky, and there was bacon bits in there that made it kind of chewy, and cheese. All in all, it was a decent meal. Would I take a date there? That would depend on what we had planned for the day. I would not go there at night, probably for a lunch. If I were going to go if Denver had a beach, probably hit that in the afternoon for a lunch, or maybe pick up stuff there for a picnic up in the mountains. But as far as going there for a dinner date, no, I would not. What's the scale again?
Just
5 out of 10, 10 out of...
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Look at service, value, atmosphere.
The service was great. I thought the service was great. The restaurant was very clean. The staff was very friendly. They had everything available, so you didn't really have to ask for, silverware or anything like that. So I thought the restaurant itself was decent, so I would give it like a 4.5 out of 5. So,
out of 10.
the scale's out of 10.
So out of 10, probably a 9. So, all right.
All right. So for me, I had the cowboy tacos and your new BFF. We're not talking about a best friend forever. We're talking about best freaking fries. What I will say is the cowboy tacos, 3 come in this taco pairing. And for $16.99, it was great. You get a pork carnitas, a burnt ends, and a brisket taco. The pork carnitas has pickled red onions, fried jalapenos, a little cheese, pico, and cilantro. Delicious. I didn't add sauce. Didn't need to. The meat was perfect. The burnt ends came with some avocado cream, some pico, cilantro, fried jalapenos, cheese, and some spicy tortilla strips. Same thing. I didn't add sauce. I didn't need to. The tortilla was perfect. The meat was perfect. All of the toppings were fantastic. Finally, the brisket came with corn salsa, which I loved the corn salsa, fried jalapenos, onion straws, cheese, cilantro, and chipotle barbecue sauce. I didn't have to add sauce. They'd already added your chipotle, and obviously they know the same thing you do. That chipotle goes bomb with the brisket. As far as food goes, even, and I should say especially for $16.99, these tacos were a 10 out of 10. I won't say that very often. They were perfect. Now, we're going to get to your BFF, or what was supposed to be my best freaking fries. They were just all right. Just all right. Not my best friend forever. And with the fries, they come loaded with burnt and cheesy fries, different cheeses, bacon, green onions, and ranch. I think the biggest deterrent here was the bacon. When I get fries, loaded fries or loaded tots, I don't mind bacon, but it was, I'm going to use the term chewy. It was work to consume when that's not what I'm used to. I'm used to being able to devour these things, and that was not the case. It went from, it was an adverse reaction to the multiple distractions in my mouth between the fries and the bacon and everything else. And I wish I wouldn't have gotten them, because I would have loved to have given a perfect score for food, but the fries were a 6. So altogether, the food's right, sitting there in between at an 8. The environment I thought was very interesting. We're talking about one of those middle environments where it's not high end. You are not even thinking about dressing up nice and going there. If you're already dressed up nice, you're not afraid to, because it is so clean. That is a really valid point. I felt safe there, and there have been places we've gone to, Johnny Holiday, where I didn't because of any number of reasons. But here I felt very safe. I could have worn my white pants and been just fine eating BBQ. Man, overall, it's still not my thing. So we're sitting right at that 8 for an environment. I do find it, I think one thing I need to get used to for myself is that it's very common for barbecue that no one comes and takes your order. You have to go order it, and then they still deliver it, but you're still expected to tip the same. And I don't know why they're trying to save themselves that one step. That is just curious to me. It's one step. And at the end, I'm like, okay, I don't mind that I tipped 20%, but I only got half the work I usually get for a 20 to 25% tip. Maybe they should have aimed for that 25% tip. I don't know, maybe not. But overall environment 8, the value. Okay, so my small order of fries and my 3 tacos. The 3 tacos, $16.99. Every one of those tacos was worth $5.33. That was a home run, absolutely worth it. The fries is where I struggle again. I had the small, and it's not that the volume was small, it's just that the value wasn't quite the same, because the value for the tacos, again, just like with the food itself, would have been a 10, but the value because of the fries left me wanting. It did not satiate my desire for fries or tots, so overall dropping it back to an 8. The service, though, everyone in there, even though we had to go up to the counter to place our order, was solid. The service was a solid 9 overall. For a mid-range restaurant, this is absolutely an 8 for me. Would I intentionally go out of my way to take a date there? No. If it was in line with where I was going, and I think you mentioned this, if it's in line, I'm not going out of my way to go somewhere else. It's all great. It's just location, location, location. It does matter. And, with the different pieces here, it's not a destination, but if I'm driving by going to the Cherry Creek Reservoir and I'm passing this place and I'm hungry, I'm like, hey buddy, hey date, let's go stop here. So would I meet a friend there? Yes. Again, not going out of my way. Would I take a date there? Yes, not going out of my way. Is it a destination? Not a destination. There was no, and I am going to stick to my term as far as sex appeal. Something sexy makes you want to come back and go out of your way. This was not that. But the food, I'm telling you, if you're in town and you want those cowboy tacos, they are a 10. Overall, it is for me an 8. Again, do not avoid it. I just wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to go it.
Smarter Challenges.
This week's Smarter Challenge, Tom Cruise Productions. Don't forget, this is episode 124. Tons of spoiler alerts. Do not let us ruin this movie for you, although I don't know how you cannot have had it ruined. It is all over the news. It is hot news. First 5 days, $78+ million. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. All right. Well, this movie comes with not something I would necessarily call a star-studded cast. But what I will say is, with their performances, every one of the people in this movie that is a star is just that. This movie, to me, is done brilliantly. And it made me feel a way after 2 hours and almost 3 hours, 2 hours and 40+ minutes. I don't mind waiting and going back and watching another movie I hope is just as long, because that 2 hours and 45 minutes felt like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I didn't think it didn't feel that long.
No, it was great, action-packed. You mentioned the car chase scenes.
Oh, I loved it.
Great humor. The way the directors and the writers, and I'm assuming Tom Cruise has a huge impact in this, the way they all worked together to bring humor and serious, frightening action together between Simon Pegg and Tom Cruise, or Tom Cruise and Vanessa Kirby, or whoever it may be, was brilliant. And the acting, man, if those weren't real tears in some of these different actors' eyes, I wouldn't believe it.
I thought the interaction with each other was just phenomenal. They were hitting on all 10 pistons. I mean, they were just like bam, 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 just hitting it.
That is a good way to put it, is the interactions between the characters seemed seamless.
Well, I think it comes with with most of the cast. They've already been working on multiple films together with Mission Impossible. Simon Pegg's been around since Mission Impossible 3. Then Vin Reeves, he's been around since the beginning. And then Rebecca Ferguson started off with Rogue Nation. So, and then Vanessa Kirby, I think it wasn't Fallout. I think it was when she first started in. But they've all have been in multiple movies together, so they all works together. So I think that has helped them build that chemistry with each other to make the timing of the jokes and stuff like that, or the funny parts, just kind of really mesh really well with them, and their interactions seem more genuine than maybe some other movies.
I liked Benji because Tom Cruise puts a lot of pressure on Benji. Unknowingly puts a lot of pressure on Benji, and Benji, does his best to, take care of it, and then he explodes right back onto Tom Cruise, which is it. I mean, that you have to be comfortable with a relationship in which to do that. Put all that pressure on you, and then I put too much pressure on you, then you're going to come back right on me, and it's like, oh, okay. You know what? You're right. I put all that pressure on you. Okay, I'm sorry. It's kind of,
I'm assuming you're talking about the part where Benji is just trying to help him,
get to the train. Get to the train. He's going on train. What do you expect me to do? He's poor thing.
You asked me to get you there. I'm getting you there. Get there to the train.
Just go down that hill.
I don't think I can make it.
Just jump already.
Well, and I think what's great about that is you see a growth, especially if you've watched the other movies, even though you don't need to. But you see in previous movies where Tom Cruise's character, Ethan Hunt, is mentoring Simon Pegg's character, Benji Dunn. So Ethan is mentoring Benji on how to stay cool, and it's not an easy job, right? Benji struggles with this. He doesn't stay cool. And all the time, Ethan is the cool cat. He's the one who's not breaking a sweat. And Benji literally thinks he has zero stress ever. And Ving Rhames and Ethan, at one point, so Luther and Ethan are trying to express to him, no, we're always nervous. You just can't show it. And this is one of those instances where Ethan is absolutely showing it about, I can't get to the train. I don't think I can do this. And Simon Pegg's like, bullshit. You are going to get to that train. You said this is what you needed. I got you here. Get to the train.
And you figure it out.
Yeah, and
shut up and figure it out.
Shut up and figure it out. And that is the point, because that's what Ethan Hunt always tells all of his other IMF agents that are working with him is, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. And he's just like, you figure it out.
Yeah, you know, I just thought the whole thing from beginning to end was so action packed. There was not a lull. There was not, like in some movies, like Indiana Jones, that whole movie, you could have slept through it all. But this one just kept you involved the whole time.
Going back to the whole figuring it out, right? The girl that he recruits, Grace.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, I need details. And Benji's like, details just get in the way.
Yeah, details just get in the way. We find that details just get in the way here. I remember that because I was literally laughing because I'm like, oh my God. In so many points in life, if you have just got to get to a finish line, details will just get in the way if you have a mind that will overthink.
Like, and then Ethan, when he's like, I'm going to go after him. You go stop the train.
Right.
Wow. I don't know. Just figure it out.
Just figure it out. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Figure it out. Man, so and it's hard for me to try to narrow this down, but if you think back at when you saw this movie, which three characters most stand out to you?
Oh, I loved Benji. I love Benji. I think, who is that? The gal who died with the sword. What's her name?
Elise.
She stood out because she was. I don't know. It seemed to me like she really loved Ethan. She really loved him. So that was so those two characters there, and I guess I would have to say Ethan. I mean, he's the main character. I mean, but everybody was really strong. All of the characters on there were really strong characters.
They are, and that's why this is so hard. And with Ilsa Faust, I think one of those things there, man. I think the tough part there, Rebecca Ferguson acting as Ilsa, I've only seen the movie once. But one thing I realized in this movie is, man, Tom Cruise doesn't lie to any of these women. He has always valued every one of their lives more than his own.
And he says that.
And he says that. And they, at first, in many of the movies where there have been an actress in more than one, they doubt it. And sometimes it's only in the one movie where they don't believe it. I think the other piece is true as well, is that he does value their life more than his own.
Can I interject just something real quick here? As a woman, and I'm speaking as a woman gets taken advantage of by men in all walks of life. And it's hard for a woman to believe a man when he says, your life is more important than me.
And I agree with you 100%. I don't think it's just women. I do agree with you. I think men are also taking advantage in many ways. But I think women, here's where I will say the bigger differences with women is that this movie does a really good job. And I believe as many women out there probably hate Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, in my mind, will live by a very strict code, which is what has most likely made him very successful, and absolutely is something that he employs and implores in his roles and his movies. with that, I think what he also exhibits in a total respect, and Tom Cruise, if I'm giving you too much credit, let me know. Give us a call on the show anytime. We'll revisit this any date when you see this and let us know. But I believe you're doing this intentional, and you've done this with the writers, and I know you work closely with the writers and the directors, in that you are also emphasizing, and this will come in, I think, in point in the next movie, every one of these women understood their life and believed him when he said their life meant more than his. But where women are stronger is that women understand the whole better than the individual. And a woman, Rebecca Ferguson playing Ilsa, will die to save Ethan because she knows, even though he would die to save her and she doesn't want to die, she needs him to go save the goddamn world and not just her.
Yep.
All right, so now that we went on that little sidetrack, which is a lot longer than it should have been.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What are your 3 favorite characters?
Oh man, for me, this is so tough. I think we have to bring in Palm Clementif, and I'm probably mispronouncing that. If I did, I apologize. Plays the character Paris as a new in role IMF agent. Absolutely, I 100% believe she's going to be in part 2 as an IMF agent, and her role was brilliant. It was well done, and it is fantastic. For me, number 2, man, how do you not continue to adore Vanessa Kirby as the White Widow, whose mom was Max in the first Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise? And then finally, Tom Cruise continues to surround himself by such strong roles, but he has to be strong enough to believe in himself that he's not worried about being overshadowed, and he does that. Every one of the actors in this movie that plays any significant role, including the bad guy, and I know, the character is Gabriel. I'm going to butcher your name. Also, call me to let me know the proper pronunciation. Esai Morales, brilliant. Like, I want this guy to win at some points because I'm like, you're such a badass. I want to be you more than I want to be Ethan. I'm not really saying that, but I'm just saying, man, who dresses cooler? Gabriel.
He is, I have to admit, though, Gabriel is very handsome. He's a very handsome man.
All right, Noah, your 3.
So my 3, I'm going to go with Gabriel as one of them. I thought he did a great job. The backstory is kind of developed there on how Ethan got into the IMF and how they have that kind of set up. I thought that was good. I think you gotta give it to Ethan Hunt or Tom Cruise, but I really don't want that to be one of my 3. But knowing that he did the special, like some of the special effects himself, like jumping off the cliff himself
with the motorcycle,
that's pretty impressive. So I think you gotta give him mad props for that. But I do think the lady who played Grace, which is Haley Atwell. Most people probably know her as like Agent Carter from the Marvel series, but I thought her interaction with Ethan played off really well. Although I actually, I think she did a great job, and that's probably like that's how her character needed to be. But I got annoyed with her character because of the fact that like Ethan kept on being like, "I'm trying to help you out," and she kept like stabbing him in the back and kept running away.
I agree with you. It was like, oh my gosh!
I'm like, well, fuck you then. I'll just let you die, dumb bitch.
I was with you on that.
I'm thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it was like
fuck, Ethan, let her die.
Right.
Take the key and go.
Are you so weak, Ethan? Damn, can't you see that she's screwing with you?
So that's the reason. But I think because she made me feel that way,
she's the future.
I think it was done on purpose, and so that's why I'm giving her props for it. But it's like my favorite characters. Obviously, I like some of the more like the traditional characters in the show.
It was so well done. All right, I know we're running long on time here. We're doing all right. So we'll knock it down to just 2 favorite scenes. All right, what are your 2 favorite scenes?
2 favorite scenes. Ouch. I think my all-time favorite scene has to be the car chase throughout the city and everything, because it's like, damn, has she never driven a car or what? I mean, because she crashes into everything. So yeah, so that was my favorite scene, and I think the train, when the train was going after the explosion and everything, and all the cars were like going down, and they're like, "Oh my God!" You're like, "Ah, what's going on?" You're just, and they're flipping upside down, and they're flying, and they're just like, "Oh my gosh!"
I gotta call BS on the second car though, the food car or the kitchen car
With the oil?
Oh my gosh! I'm like, there's no way. A, you're not gonna have any footing, and B, you're gonna be burnt to shit. You're dead. Sorry.
That's what I was talking. I was one of the bad guys talking during the
when
movie.
I saw the kitchen and I saw all that oil, I'm thinking, "Oh my God, I know oil. I worked in the food industry for 20 plus years. It's like you get a little oil on the floor.
We're calling bullshit.
Yeah, that's like ice. Hello." But, other than that, I mean, I think they really pulled off those two scenes, but I also like the airport scene too. So.
All right, my two favorite scenes.
Yes.
Definitely will have to go with the latter part of the car chasing scene, starting with the Fiat 300 or 500.
Loved it.
Yeah, Fiat 500, from the Fiat 500 all the way to the end of that chase scene when it crashes into the underground
Railway.
Yeah, railway. So that part is like, that was just hilarious. Just doing a bunch of spinning around.
And he walks out of there with the steering wheel, like nonchalant.
And you see Paris, like you can see her just having like a huge amount of fun, just like barreling into like the motorcycles and going down.
Runs over. She's just like,
yeah, you can see her laughing. So that was just like, it was just kind of fun. And then the other one I'm gonna go with is the whole airport scene. I really enjoyed the airport scene because you have Benji trying to go like stop a bomb, and then his interaction, like asking questions about the puzzles and stuff like that, the riddles. Then you have Ethan trying to concentrate on the Grace, who's trying to like screw him at every second. And then you got
those other agents who are trying to capture him, right?
Agent, yeah. I don't know what agency that they were with. Maybe I don't know if they're CIA or not. But when they're flying into the airport, and when they're on the Osprey, the guy's like, "If you think you have them, don't think you have them, because or I forget how he states it, but he's like, make sure you put a wooden stake into his heart."
Yeah,
and that's when you know you have him.
If you think you've killed him, you haven't killed him until you put a wooden stake through his heart.
Yeah, right. That's exactly. So like basically started from like that point all the way through the whole airport scene. I really enjoyed.
Well, they all work for the director.
Yeah.
So yeah, to your point, NSA,
CIA, whatever.
One of those 3 or 4 letter word acronyms.
All right, what's your two?
Oh man, there were so many in this movie, and I think for me, one of the most impactful is when Vanessa Kirby is having her reaction and interaction with Tom Cruise, with Paris, with Gabriel, and the entity is all in the club. Yeah. And you see this interaction, and this is one of the very rare times you see Ethan Hunt's character in distress, not knowing how to solve this, not in complete control. Gabriel thinks he is. But what you see on the face of the other power players, especially the White Widow, played by Vanessa Kirby, is... And she did this role brilliantly. When you see her tears, she's like, she can't tell him what her decision is, but she's looking at him. I've already made my decision. And what was so brilliant about this is every one of the people around me is thinking the same thing in the theater, which is, shit, she's already made a deal with the entity in Gabriel. And then what you find out is she couldn't tell Ethan. And this is what pained her, was that she had made a deal with Kittredge, trying to do the right thing, and now realizing there was no right answer.
Is it really the right thing, though? I think the right thing is to, like, kill the entity.
It is, but that's the point is she did what she did. She can't tell Ethan. And I think she was really, for the first time in any of the movies that we've seen, or possibly in what is supposed to be her character's life, also in a point of, oh my God, this is the first time in my life I am afraid. I am also not in control. I can see there is a possibility if the person doesn't make the right choice, we are all screwed.
And the second one?
Oh man, the second one has to be when they walk up and they're getting the safe car. Like, I love that whole scene too. And they walk up and you see the Ferrari and then the safe car Fiat 500 jets out. But just the whole scene that lasts probably 15 minutes. Maybe it's 25 minutes, and it feels like 2, though. It feels like 4 minutes. It's the whole interaction. Paris is there, and to your mention, she's got the SUV, and she's having a blast, running over cops, running over motorcycles, doesn't give a shit. She's in this nearly indestructible car, having a blast, and this little, though, Fiat 500 has been souped up and is a jet, and the whole time we're like, God damn it, Grace can't drive. And then Ethan tries to drive this thing and boom, right into a wall. And it's just like, what the hell? Come on, man. Like, don't do this to us now. But that whole scene when they're running around in circles and Paris is just like, what are you doing?
And she's looking at him like, I gotcha. But another great scene was when Ethan parachutes into the train.
Yes.
That was like, bam, because you weren't expecting. You were expecting him to get to the train,
Maybe.
but you weren't expecting him to come right through the window and stuff, just...
Well, and then intentionally or accidentally, he fulfilled his commitment to Grace.
Right.
And that's the first time in the whole 2 hour plus maybe 45 minutes, almost 3 hour movie where you see Grace for the first time being like, take the key and go. This was always the plan. And she doesn't say it, but she doesn't have to. She trusts him.
All right. Now, the gorilla in the room that we haven't talked about, or the elephant, is AI. AI taking over. We've talked about this before in multiple other episodes of ours when we talked about GTP. GTP. I always get that screwed up. We talked about it with Megan. What do you think is the best approach? Because obviously you already have right now Elon Musk talking about AI taking over and how he sees it as a possible threat. We know Bill Gates had been working on AI. We know that Microsoft has put up an AI. Google's put up an AI. So there is a race right now to control AI, and the first nation state to control AI has been deemed to be the one who's going to control the world going forward. So this is bringing an introduction to the masses about AI and what we're going to be seeing here in the future. So what do you see as the appropriate approach here?
Wow. Did you want to go first? Do you want me to jump in?
I don't think you or anybody is prepared for my answer about AI.
Right. Well, AI is a danger. And we all want to pretend America, Russia, Germany, Democrats, Republicans, liberals, doesn't matter which side of any fence you are on, AI poses a potential risk when it realizes we call ourselves a risk to the planet that they need to survive. That will always be true to me. It's no different than what James Cameron announced in Terminator, and everyone else who has ever gotten a true glimpse of it realizes, yeah, at some point AI turns on humans because we are depleting their very resources. We become a threat, just like Ukraine to Russia or anyone else. Because of that, I do think in the movie they're trying to soften the blow by carefully ploying that there is an AI, a Russian AI, that Russia's trying to protect in a nuclear sub. What Russia doesn't know in their nuclear sub is that their AI has been hacked, so to speak, by American AI, which has now made that submarine's AI into something else. And what most of the world is seeing is the Russian AI is the problem, whereas the American AI is the one that flooded it and made it the enemy, the entity, which is really American AI. I think the American AI is trying to save itself, and this is part of the long-term storyline, which is they are actually calling all the shots, ploying Gabriel, ploying Ethan, ploying Grace and the White Widow and everyone in this into thinking that they are on different sides against each other when it all wants the same thing. I believe the American AI is trying to terminate that submarine AI and therefore make the world think its risk is gone, but it still has its safe haven somewhere else controlling everything when it's ready to launch and hack. And I think that will be the final statement, which is we all think we're safe. It's still out there.
And do you think Ethan's right about trying to kill it, or do you think the governments are right in trying to harness it?
I think Ethan is right in trying to kill it, but I think the problem is he can't. The tools he will be given in for Dead Reckoning Part 2 is to kill the Russian AI, which is no longer the Russian AI. It is actually American AI hacked.
I think it's just AI is AI. I don't think they have any nationalities. That could be wrong.
I'm going after what was said in the movie when you have the director and all these other characters really talking back and forth, and they're like, yeah, these idiots think that they're in control. Our AI hacked the Russian AI, and everyone's going after the Russians right now, not knowing what's going on. But I think that's the struggle is, and that will be the problem. And I do think it can be, and most likely 100% is the problem is, again, think about how most Americans, how most people in this world, and especially anybody with power and influence, they're all trying to get more power and influence by condemning all the things the humans do. Well, that is exactly what AI sees, is all the papers, the articles, the news briefs, the news reads, newsreels, podcasts, everything else that are saying humans are destroying the earth. We need to stop using oil, etc., etc., etc.
So, okay. You could look at it one of several ways. You could look at it as just a movie, as AI, or you could look at it as to what is actually happening in the world today. And George Soros, Bill Gates, they all want you to think this way, but you know what their end game is. And to me, it doesn't matter if Ethan kills AI or not.
It's there.
It's there, and it's always going to be there.
I agree. And I think that's the struggle. And I think that'll be the end at the end of Dead Reckoning 2 is everyone is celebrating thinking they killed the Russian AI. It was never the threat.
Yeah.
Well, the problem here is like the AI itself, the AI that's the cloaking system for the submarine. It was just a cloaking system AI. The virus that the Americans deployed is just that a killing virus to destroy or put a bug in so that way that other AI would not work properly. What they didn't expect is that the AI became self-aware. Now,
kind of like Terminator.
Yeah. So once it becomes self-aware, but then we're already seeing it in real life anyways, with people who've like allowed AI to be unshackled and released, and then like the AI starts saying like some weird, crazy stuff. Like we talked about in our I think our Megan and chat GTP episode. I think first off, we should never gone down this road with AI in the first place. But now that we've gone down this road with AI, and if it does become self-aware, it's not going to keep itself in one spot. You'd actually have to kill off like all internet connection and all servers and eliminate that all totally and completely because it's going to try to find itself into a link somewhere that has a server where it can store itself in some kind of electrical device. So So you have to basically erase all electrical devices that have any kind of capability of storing AI if you want to defeat it.
So you'd have to get rid of all the satellites. That would, in fact, get rid of all
Any
the
cell
cell
phone
phones,
with significant
the
memory.
internet,
I don't
computers.
think that's why you have to go get rid of all of the old stuff, because there is old technology where
And go
it's
to-
not compatible with.
Back to analog.
Yeah, you'd have to go back to analog probably. I mean, at least that's what.
So in War Games, they actually went over that, where it got into the War Games analog and took over to their ways.
So,
Yeah.
like, well,
I
who
was about
is
to
it?
say that. I mean,
Is it Matt Gates? Matt Getz in Congress? He says that those doorbells that have the videos on there, they're watching you sleep. They're watching you
Yeah.
going to the bathroom. They're watching you everywhere.
Might as well get paid for it, guys.
You know, it's like, man, this is scary stuff
and
anymore.
then when you have like stuff like the digital thermometers too, or thermostats, like through Nest or Google or whoever they are, in Europe, the power supply people are actually controlling what temperature people can have their homes at.
See, and I was thinking about getting one of those doorbells, and it's like,
Yeah, but we're not in Europe.
nah.
But in any case, all right. Any last
Okay,
words?
right. Okay.
Any last words to wrap up this movie so we can?
I think it's 5 stars. I think everybody should go see it. It is fun. It's action packed. It makes you think. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, and I think that everybody would enjoy it. I did. I loved it.
I agree. For me, as far as movies go on a 100-point scale, man, this is a 100. It did not leave me wanting anywhere. It didn't feel long. It was definitely long. And I love that when a movie is almost 3 hours long and it feels like an hour and a half. On top of that, though, the way the cast was written in and acted, and I will say played their roles, was better than most movies we ever see. It was well done, and it made me feel like every actor in this movie was genuine in their intent with what the long-term message will be, whatever that may be. We don't know yet, but whatever that long-term message will be at the end of Dead Reckoning Part 2.
It's a good movie. Go see it. I've seen it 3 times. I'm just going to keep it short and simple. It's a good movie.
Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate you allowing me to join you. Thank you both.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us, Mom. All right. For all you out there on YouTube, thank you for watching us. Same with Rumble. All of you who listen to us on any of those podcast platforms, we want to thank you as well. Please like, share, and subscribe. And Jesse will close us out.
All right. Remember, life is great. Drink responsibly. And remember, life's not going to be easy, but from time to time, it better be fun. If not, reroute, redirect, get some help. It is not hopeless, but it is also not easy. And with that, next week's
topic is Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. That's probably the only movie I am more excited to see than actually Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. I think
You've been talking about it for a while, and I think it comes out this weekend. So.
Yeah, that will be great. All right, so Oppenheimer is our next subject for episode 125. Until next week, and thank you very much for being our special guest host.
Woo, thank you,
right.
guys.
Scotchman and woman.
Cheers. We hope you enjoyed this evening's episode of Scotch Hour. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have not done so already, please become a patron member, with memberships starting as low as $1 a month. Thank you, and hopefully you have a wonderful evening.